Hello, and a good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening to you, the good, wonderful people of the tube. Never made it as a jazz singer. I wonder why. Anyway, hello everybody. Welcome to the vid. Today's vid, everybody, is about this beautiful strip of Marshall right in front of your very eyes. Well, kind of in front of your very eyes. In front of your YouTube eyes. Is that weird? That's weird. Anyway. This is a Marshall Lead 100, and this one is from 1975, everybody. They started making these things in 1974. I've been after one of these since I left Old Hat in 2014, because we had one there, and I loved it, but couldn't afford to buy it at the time. Now I have one, and I'm not going to let it go. I'm in a very good mood today. So anyway, so this amp is amazing. So this is a 100 watt solid state amp. And this was basically one of Marshall's kind of first forays, if you will, into using solid state technology in amplifiers. If you've been on the channel before, you've seen my Marshall lead combo, big, huge 2x12 monster. But this is basically predates that. That one was from 1977. This is from 1975, and they first started making these in 1974. And this is May 75. And these things are amazing. These things are real hidden gems. If you find one of these things, try it. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. These things are amazingly good. They're so cool. Like I said, I've been after one for ages. So when this came up, I was not going to say no to it. So basically, what is it? It's a plexi. It's a plexi in a weird strip. Basically, it's basically because it's a control panel of a plexi. That's exactly what this is, with a master volume. It's just ridiculously cool. And so let's talk about the function. So on the right side here, let's start here. So you've got three inputs here. So input 1, input 2, and then in the middle you have input 1 and 2, which is basically both inputs jumper together. Common thing to do on plexis, link them together, link the channels together to make one channel. So that's what's going on there. Input 1, input 2, in the middle, input 1 and 2. The next thing, coming to the left side, we have volume 2, which is basically the normal channel, the bass channel, if you will, of the amp. It gives it a bit more low end. Then you have volume 1, which is kind of like the high treble channel controlling input 1. When you're plugged into the middle input, you basically can use both to really dial in the tone. It's amazingly cool. I love it to bits. So, moving along, we're going to skip over these two slider dials at this point in time. We're going to go over to here quickly. You've got 4-band EQ, treble, middle, bass, and presence. And then you've got a master volume at the end here, which is awesome. And the master volume this amp just look at it. Just look at it. How is that not cool? I mean, honestly, it's ridiculous. Anyway, so master volume, then you got the logo here and lead 100 there. On-off switch. In the back, you have two outputs. You have basically you can use it as a slave amp. There's a few things on the back, none of which are really kind of like prevalent to this demo. So anyway, let's go back to these sliders, which are important. So the left slider, this one here, is called cut, and basically what that does, it kind of like gets rid of a lot of the body of the amp. It's really strange dial. I don't really understand why it's there, to be honest with you. And I will show you it very briefly today, but I don't really like it, so it's going to stay out. But people of the tube, on the right side of that is the beautiful switch, the boost switch. Everybody, I don't know if you'll be able to hear this, but listen. So I don't know if you can hear that, but basically what that does is basically just kicks the amp. So if you're running the volumes on 10 here, you can send the amp into overdrive, and it's such a gorgeous overdrive. It's not going to overdrive a great deal through this cab because of the high-powered speakers. Because it's a 300 watt cab and it's only a 100 watt head, it can't drive them to a great deal of breakup. But if you have like a cab with like 25 watt greenback speakers, this thing overdrives like nobody's been. It's so gorgeous. But without the boost function in, this thing is as clean as a whistle. It's such an amazing pedal platform, this thing is. When I ran my pedal board into it, which is what I was doing in the intro jam, it just sounds immense. I absolutely loved it to bits. It's so good. And the EQ is so responsive. It's just so good. And then you have the added bonus of being able to dial in volume 1 and 2 without killing your face like you would with a plexi because of a master. So all's well there. But this boost function just basically sends you into kind of like classic AC/DC rock territory. Should be able to get some of that out of the amp today through the JSM 900. But my god, this thing sounds immense. It really sounds immense. Like I said, I've been after one of these things for ages, and I won't be letting it go. I just won't let it go. This is solid state history, much in the same way as my Marshall the other lead amp I've got, the one from 1977. And personally, there's a lot of kind of people saying, oh, the old solid state stuff's crap. This wasn't. And hopefully I can kind of show you that today of how good this thing sounds. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to unplug my pedal board. I will revisit the pedal board tomorrow more when I get lost in the amp. We'll plug the pedal board in tomorrow and just basically go from pedals, let the amp do like a clean kind of power thing. And we're just going to go straight in today with a couple of different guitars. There is a new guitar to the Horde, which you saw in the intro jam. You'll see more of that very soon, but not as yet. But I finally have P90s. Anyway, I'm just going to plug straight in today and just get a load of different, as many different sounds as I can within time limits. So I've spoken enough. Marshall Lead 100, 100 watt solid state amp from 1975. Love this thing to bits. This is just like, I love it. Anyway, let's go. Okay, people tube. There you go. That is straight sounds from the Marshall Lead 100. I love it. I love this thing. It's just, it does all that classic Marshall-y plexi stuff, from like the really clean to the really gritty overdrives. Like I say, you definitely get more gain out of these things if your speaker had more, if your speakers were a bit more low powered. But I like the 75s, so I'm not going to get mass gain out of this thing, but you can if you use lower powered speakers, especially kind of like if you've got like something like Greenback 25-watt speakers, you get more output from this thing, more distortion, if you will, because it can drive them a bit harder. It can't really drive these as much. The amp's a bit kind of like, you know, bring it, which I like. Anyway, but I hope the sounds came across okay. Like I say, tomorrow's vid, what we're going to do basically is I'm going to plug a pedal board back in and just basically get lost in it for about 20 minutes and just kind of like let this just be a pedal platform, which is not only is this thing amazing fun to just plug in and play, it takes pedals like nobody's business. If you turn the boost off and just kind of like, you know, just I normally just go into both channels so I can get a nice blend of treble and bass from volume 1 and volume 2, and then just kind of like dial it in however on the EQ. If you just do that, this thing it just takes pedals so well. It just projects that sound so cleanly and well. I love it. Like all old Marshalls, where it's really mid-focused, you can really hear the mids, and I love that so much. There's just a real big clunky mid-range to it. It's very unforgiving. Very unforgiving. A lot like the old Plexis are, and the old Marshalls in general. You know, you make a mistake, it clangs out, as you heard. My playing wasn't very good today. Anyway, enough fun, doesn't matter. Hopefully the sounds came across okay. Marshall E100, you know, this, to me, shuts those people up who say old 70s solid state stuff was naff. This definitely isn't. My other Marshall definitely isn't, and some of the other solid state I've got from the 70s and even the 60s, it doesn't sound naff to me. But again, that's just me. Anyway, but let me know what you think, people of the tube. I love this thing. Like I say, if you see one of these things, try it. They're so cool. They're so cool. And that boost function, so amazing. I did kind of go through with it off and on. The Telecaster didn't have it on. The P90 Les Paul didn't have the boost function on. The Strat at the beginning did, and the Les Paul did have the boost function on. And again, you can kind of see where I was in what input. Like I say, input 1's on the left, input 2's on the right. In the middle is both. So these are ridiculous. Anyway, that's enough waffle. Marshall E100. Check them out. 1975. Rules. Awesome stuff. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow, and we'll play some music. More music.